Miss Seth, first of all, gratitude for being part of the jury, for the shout out on social media, and being very involved in the jury process. I was there, I saw the level of involvement of all the jury members, and that's really what has built this initiative. So, gratitude for contributing tremendously in the first year. Please give Miss Seth a big round of applause. It's good for your heart muscles. Clapping is good for your heart muscles.
Thank you, sir. And more importantly, I think all of us are very honored that you think we are capable of sitting here. And my apologies, because I don't think I'm in a position to judge anybody and their fitness. But we were all just doing a job, and that was it. I think everyone who was nominated in the 40 fittest over 40, I think, are all winners, because anyone who is paying that kind of attention to their physical health, in my opinion, is winning.
Thank you so much. You're being very modest, and rightly, I must say we do 300 awards. We do almost everything through a jury process. Jury processes are honest, but they're not perfect. The only two people who are perfect, you know who, Miss Seth? One is Lord Shiva, I'm Hindu. The other is my wife. Everybody else is imperfect. Okay. I hope we can play that back to my wife, so I get some lifetime achievement award. But staying on to you, your session is about balancing screen, stress, and self as a leader. How do you maintain a balance from screen to self, and how has this journey of creating balance between your professional life, personal life, and social commitment as a well-known professional, how do you achieve this balance?
So I think one of the things that I did very early on in my career is that I was very clear about the number of hours that I was willing to work. And given that my profession already has very unusual and grueling hours, I realized very early on that because my job was in front of the camera, and the camera does not lie, it can catch you when you're tired, it catches you when you're exhausted, it catches you when you are in pain, underslept, underfed, so on and so forth. So out of sheer vanity...
Or overfed.
I think out of sheer vanity, I decided early on that I would be very clear that I would not like to work beyond 12 hours. So
in a day or in a week?
Well, in a day, because our standard...
Some of my friends only work 12 hours in a week, some work 12 hours in a month.
That is the game. That's the ultimate aim in life, is to work only 12 hours the whole week. But I think what happened was, it didn't sit well initially with a lot of people, because the job is such that nobody is trying to keep you back, but it just takes that kind of time. What I did realize is that my health is eventually my priority. It is not someone else's priority. They are not going to think of, oh, we need to make sure that Shruti gets the right number of hours of sleep, or she should make it to her workout, or she should get her lunch or her dinner at the right time. That was something I was managing myself.
Absolutely.
So I was very clear from the very beginning that I will be here on time, and then I will leave on time. And the thing is, because I kept my part of the bargain of always making sure that I was on set when I promised I would be there, I think all the people who I worked with did not have, an excuse to not let me go. I used to say, I will be ready on your set at 9 a.m., but then I will leave at 9 p.m. And over a period of time, I think it just became something which a lot of people started understanding, that if you want longevity in any line of work, it is only going to happen with balance. Otherwise, at some point, there is going to be burnout, there is going to be fatigue, there is going to be a point where your body is going to fight back and say, no more. So, thankfully, because I recognized that early, I was able to sustain for a lot longer.
Thank you, Ms. Seth. And you're a mental health coach, you're a mental well-being coach.
Yes.
What made that journey happen?
To be honest, it just came from a place of curiosity. Again, it was just about me trying to learn more about myself. And that's the beauty about learning, is that it's a slippery slope. And once you're on it, there's no end to it. And especially if you are learning about the human mind, it is an endless and bottomless pit.
Yeah, new discovery.
Absolutely. And each one of us has such a unique mental makeup, and no two people can claim to be experiencing life the same way.
Absolutely.
So I think what started off from wanting to know myself a little more turned into something that thankfully brought me to a place where now I would say I am in a position to help people get to know themselves a little more deeply.
Fantastic. And though you talked about being balanced, having discipline of being on time, leaving on time, but you're in such an industry where chaos happens.
Absolutely.
Some co-actor hasn't showed up in time. So when chaos happens, how do you press the pause button? Do you press the pause button? It's a very fast-paced life. And sometimes taking a pause is the best thing you can do.
100%. I believe that there is a huge amount of power in the word pause. And I think more and more people are starting to recognize and understand that. And most importantly, I think where it really helps is in being able to make the right kind of decision about how you would like to respond as opposed to react. And that only comes if you are able to stay in a place of pressing the pause button. And like you said, there are many, many unexpected, untoward circumstances that get thrown up in our faces. And as disciplined as one would like to be, many a times it is not the case. But I think what does happen is that, having a situation once in a while, there is a possibility to work around it because most of the time it's taken care of. So if suppose there is a situation which happens, somebody's fallen sick, a camera equipment is not working, something has gone wrong, it started raining, because most of the time you remain disciplined, everyone can make room for that stray incident. The problem is when there is constant chaos, everyone is working from a place of just overreacting.
Absolutely. And I'm a very responsive person. I respond to text, emails, except when I'm in events. I don't have my phone. I had it in the morning, but I've given it away. And I've learned sometimes responding late is good.
Yes,
because
absolutely.
I'm like, sometimes I'm responding immediately. And I'm calmer. I know I'm calmer, even on the days I don't sleep enough. But, how do you recognize burnout? How do you recognize the early signs of burnout? A lot of corporate executives have early burnout. Is there a way to be able to recognize that you are having burnout and to be able to kind of stop it there?
100%. I think one of the easiest ways to recognize that your mental health is needing your attention is when functioning normally becomes a challenge, when doing even the most routine tasks starts feeling overwhelming, and even the slightest shift in your day tends to take you to the extremes where your emotions are concerned. You know that your brain is tired. And burnout is essentially just brain fatigue. That's what it is.
100%.
Your brain is just too
And
tired.
it takes wrong decisions. Last night, I know eating even a dark chocolate in the night is bad because, the substances in that, they don't let you sleep. If you
Yes.
eat dark chocolate, and I ate it in my room, I couldn't sleep. But, I was fatigued because I'd slept very little the night before, 5 hours. And whenever you don't sleep enough,
Absolutely.
you'll eat more. Today, I'm much better. Not still my perfect night's sleep because I've slept it. Finally, I think I was able to sleep at 12:30. I woke up at 8:15, got out of bed at 9:15. But it's the quality of sleep Mr. Bakshi talked about. That's very, very important, And I'm better when I sleep better
We're all
with my
we're
colleagues.
happiest when we are well fed, and when I say well fed, I mean when we have eaten clean, not when we've just absorbed empty calories. So if you've actually eaten a good, healthy, balanced meal, and you've got the right hours of sleep, not just having slept number of hours, but the right ones.
And
So
I'll
when
tell you, Miss Seth, I'm thinking about something. I'm always worried somebody will eat my food, so I eat my food very fast. Basically, I eat very, very fast. And since as a child, I have an older sister, my parents have been telling me, eat slow. But now I finally realize, because I'm always working and I'm very busy, So I'm always going from one thing. But I've tried to get slower in eating because I eat less. I am, my nutritional therapist told me I paid her fees to tell me the same thing that my parents have been telling me for 45 plus years. So one thing I want to, how do you slow down? You talked about pause. Pause is one thing. But how do you, in a world which is so fast paced, you got to respond to text, you got to respond to social media, you got to be the first in everything. How do you slow down? Is it possible to slow down?
Well, to be honest, it absolutely is. Absolutely. And you're speaking about eating food. I will recommend something that you can try which will make you slow down your eating process. So, this is for anyone who has a problem of wolfing down their meals. We all tend to do it. And we all do it especially when we are distracted. So, either you are watching something, which is something we all love to do, watch a television show or a film or whatever while eating your food, or you are responding to a text or an email, or you're on your laptop. You're basically distracted from your meal. The moment you start paying attention to just one task at a time, you will automatically realize that you will slow down. So
100%.
here's something you can try, sir, for the next time you're eating your meal. And again, for anyone else in
I
this
eat other
room,
people's meals also sometimes, but when I'm eating my meal, I'll do that.
so an interesting thing to do is if you eat using cutlery, I would recommend try and do it. I like eating with my hands, but for this particular activity, I would recommend try and use a spoon or a knife and fork or whatever it is. After every bite, okay, put your cutlery back in the plate and take your hands in your lap and chew your food. Only when you are done chewing the bite that's in your mouth, pick up the cutlery again, take the next bite, again, place it in your plate, put your hands in your lap, chew the meal, and then go to the next bite. I promise you it'll slow down your eating, number one. Number two, try and not do it with any distractions and actually pay attention to the flavors in your mouth. Like try and understand what is the flavor in my mouth right now? What is the texture of the food in my mouth? What is the temperature of the food in my mouth? Like really engage with the bite that is in your mouth.
But then if you don't have your phone, won't be able to take photo of the food and post it. That's what my children do. I mean, they're always taking photo of whatever
Well, okay,
they
so, for those who like doing that, please take a photo of your food. You don't need to take a photo of every bite, right? पहला photo लेना है, ले लो, फिर उसके बाद phone कहीं रख के आ जाओ बहुत दूर. And then, like I said, try and eat with cutlery and with every bite. Put the cutlery down, put your hands in your lap, and only pick it up once your mouth is empty, which means you have swallowed the properly chewed bite in your mouth. It will teach you to slow down.
Yeah, I had a good habit. I used to think it's a good habit. I like to read, even when I was 10 years old. So I'm very fond of reading.
Yes.
So I now keep books, but I don't look at the phone. That's a good thing. But I stopped reading also because, trust me, Sunday I ate something and I was really focused on eating and small portion. It was so enjoyable.
Yes.
It possibly gave me more nutrition than I eat fast. Now, what's your secret to staying grounded when you're constantly in front of a camera? People who are celebrities, you're a celebrity, well-known person. How do you stay grounded?
Well, luckily for me, I think I am one of the few Bombay kids who is in the media. Now it's largely populated by people from out of Bombay. So I think when I started working, I had an entire life that was already set in Bombay. So my friends, my family, extended circle, they all existed way before I became who I became as an actor. So they kind of knew me from that awkward, shy girl who one day, sort of stumbled in front of a camera and then it just stuck and I became an actor. But because that life already existed, I never had a chance to let it sort of uproot me to begin with. I think my family, my friends, my extended circle just always kept it very real for me. And thankfully for me, because of that, whether it was the highs of success or the lows of the failures, they didn't impact me as much because my life was already set long before I established my career.
Beautiful. By the way, there's nothing called failure. My favorite author, Randy Pausch, who did the last lecture in the books called The Last Lecture, said experience is what you get when you don't get
Absolutely.
what you want. Everything is experience. Human beings don't fail. The project fails, the idea fails. If you learn from it, you can build whatever you want to build, as Mr. Bakshi said.
100%
So
agreement.
thank you so much, Ms. Seth. Please give her a big round of applause. And if you
Thank
have,
you.
I can take 2 questions. Even Mr. Bakshi is clapping. Can we get the mic fast to that gentleman on the middle table? Yeah, the mic guys need coffee or something else, a kick in the back to do it faster.
Hello, sir. Hello, ma'am. This has been a wonderful session so far. My question to
And
you,
how
ma'am-
have they been?
Sorry, sir.
How have been the sessions?
It's been wonderful. It's been really
Thank you,
insightful.
thank you.
Thank you. So, ma'am, with us being in corporates, there's a lot of this stress around mental well-being. And
Yes.
of course, you are a mental well-being coach.
Yes.
So just wanted to hear from you in lines of what could be some of the tips when you're going through a lot of these, like we all know corporate politics, or there's a lot of toxic workplace culture. So
I
how
don't
you
like the word toxic. When I do interviews, anybody who says my last company is toxic, my last boss is toxic, I see them as toxic. Because you see people as you are,
No,
right?
it's
Toxic
just-
तो word
yeah.
ऐसे use करते हैं लोग पता नहीं क्या है.
It's just like we hear a lot of that, sir. So I just
Nothing
want to
toxic.
Yeah.
Your thinking is toxic. People are
Exactly.
unique. You don't like somebody, you don't like it, doesn't move on.
Absolutely.
They don't have to be wrong for you to, maybe that's not your cup of tea.
Agree.
So there's nothing called toxic. Get this word toxic out of your brain.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Yeah. So just
Sorry,
want to
sorry.
understand. No, that's fine. So just want to understand from you some tips around maintaining the mental well-being and the balance.
So, again, like I mentioned earlier in our conversation, no two people will ever experience life the same way. So, I think one of the most important things, and again, bringing me to the other conversation about learning how to pause, is the ability to understand that is the situation actually happening the way I think it's happening? Is it my perception, or is it actually true? So, that requires a fair amount of, I would say, reflection for yourself to understand, am I perceiving it a certain way because I am bringing my judgment to this particular situation, or is it actually so? So that's your first thing you want to try and identify. If you are able to see that maybe this is just my perception, that will automatically help you respond better. If it is something that is being perpetuated in an organization and there are more than, I would say, 5 people who agree that yes, okay, maybe we're all perceiving it the same way, then it can be addressed together. I think the important thing to do is, number one, once you're able to differentiate whether is this the organization or is it me and my perception of it, if it is the organization, I'm sure every single corporate organization has systems in place where things can be discussed, where they can be resolved. I think that is what people need to start doing, is that finding a way to negotiate your way into a conversation that can help both people involved. What has happened recently, and I'm so glad that Sir just said, can we get certain words out of our vocabulary? Because when we start using them so freely, we tend to color people's judgment of things before they are able to understand it. So let's stop saying things like toxic. If I don't like someone, doesn't make that person toxic. It's just my perception of them is different from other people. So find a way to negotiate. Address the problem in a way that is responsive and not reactive. I know that every single corporate has an HR department, there are lead managers, there are people who can help you understand a situation from a different perception. Try and first get there. If all else fails, then you yourself will know in your gut whether that place is suited to you or not. And if it is not, then you yourself know what is the next step you would like to take.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
We'll
so
take this last question, quick question, because we want to be on time. Mike, guys, you're so consistent, yaar. Sanjana, can we do something about these mic guys? Get better ones? Or I can start giving mics to people?
Hi. It was lovely how simply you took care of that problem. And I think what you were trying to highlight is by that exercise, you come to the present moment.
Yes.
Now, because you solved this very complex but very little looking problem, what do you think is the best way of being in present? Because professionally, when we have like 10 things going on. What do you think you be in one place, be in present? How do you do that?
So to be honest, I think a lot of us, me included, we spend a lot of our time either in our past or in our future. Right? So either I'm just wondering, oh my God, when it was like that, this is what would have happened, blah, 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 or when it will become that. The point is my life is happening right now. You have to just keep remembering that my life is happening right now. What am I doing in the present moment? Yes, of course, one should be prepared for the future. The past does have a lot of information to give you about why things are the way they are or why certain perceptions of yours have been formed because of your past. But the point is your life is happening in the present only. I don't even know what is going to happen when I walk out of this door. I cannot tell you for certain. I can only hope everything will be okay. But what is really happening is I am currently sitting here and paying attention only to you. I'm not thinking of the traffic outside. I'm not thinking, will I make it back home at the time I'm supposed to? I'm just paying attention to this conversation.
I think you have definitely addressed one part of it because the half part I had already resolved about the past. I don't think about it anymore. But I was probably referring a little bit more, not about thinking about the traffic, but because we think multitasking is efficient, which I do not
is
think
just
so.
not.
So how do we revert that?
Can I answer this? I don't know how many were in the morning. I showed you a slide. Partial attention is wasted attention. He's saying exactly the same thing, okay? And most friends of mine, people who work, they think I'm doing I sit in the conference room, I have 2-3 years sitting, I'm telling one thing to him, to Himani another. But actually I only do one. Right now I don't have my phone, I've been fully in conversations. Trust me, when I'm only doing one thing at a time, I do it so well. So don't do multitasking. Multitasking is not good. From a person who's done it all his life, he's saying this to you. Do only one thing at a time. And when I do it, I do it really well.
Yeah, so I will not take much time, but that's definitely a good suggestion. We'll see how do I practice it, but
Thank
good
you.
idea. Thank you.
Give Miss Seth a big round of applause. She's been very
Thank you.
authentic and,